Hi guys, I was going through my DVD collection overview and then I noticed that, while I mentioned the reality show Endurance, I realized that only a select few people out there actually will probably know about that show because it isn't like Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, Top Chef, America's Next Top Model, and how they're like known to most of the people out there who watch reality shows, so I thought I'd describe the show, what it's about. Then I discuss my opinion of each season and not get into spoilers. And so, Endurance. What the show is about is that it starts off with a group of 20 people. They are dropped off in a exotic location. Some examples are Hawaii, somewhere in the Sierra Mountains, a place called Tehachapi, I think it's somewhere in California, someplace near the Mexican and Californian border, and then a group of islands not too far off California, and then Fiji. They stay there for a short while, then they compete in a Right to Stay challenge where six of them, three guys, three girls, are eliminated, so you're left with seven girls, seven guys. Then there's another competition to determine teams. What happens is that there's a guy and girl on each team, and each team has a color, red through purple, and then in most seasons, gray, and in few cases, a brown. So a couple of seasons you actually have 16 people. Then they also compete in other competitions, either called endurance missions or temple missions. Endurance missions, they compete for the right to handicap another team. In temple missions, they compete for the right to be immune from elimination and the right to nominate two teams for elimination. Then what happens is that the two teams nominated for elimination go up to a location called the Temple of Fate, where they compete in a best of three rounds. I'm not going to tell you the specifics of that, but that's pretty basic. Whoever wins 2 out of 3 goes back. But I also have to mention that as rewards from winning either of the two types of missions, a team is awarded with pieces of a pyramid, each with a specific word on it. Strength, luck, perseverance. The game continues like this until there's two people left. Two teams left, sorry. Then those two teams go to the Temple of Fate, and then they bring the pyramid pieces with them. By then, only those two teams, of course, have pyramid pieces, and then they compete with these pyramid pieces to get all those pieces. Whichever team gets all those pyramid pieces wins. Yeah, I agree, it doesn't sound like that interesting of a concept, especially since there's actually teenagers on the show, but when I watched it I was pretty entertained. You'll recognize a few elements of Survivor in there, but apparently more people believe that there's actually more elements of Big Brother there. Me, about that, I don't know. I haven't seen that much of Big Brother. I've only seen the first 2 seasons, and I'm in the process of watching season 3. But I'm hooked to that season. Anyway, let's get into my opinion of each season. This will work even if you haven't seen the show or not, except for season 6, where you should have seen that season. So season 1 is just the basic intro season, everyone's exercising their stuff for the first time, the usual fighting about it, all alliances worth it or not. I found it to be somewhat predictable, but I really enjoyed watching it, and my favorite team ended up coming up on top, although I was disappointed about a couple of the teams leaving beforehand. It was a good season. Season 2 is basically, well, they just make the challenges much more difficult. That was what got me hooked to that season. The fact that the challenges were much more difficult and the social relationships between all the teams were a lot more complex because there were a lot more friendships going on, but it seemed to be almost as many rivalries because it seemed like the majority of the teams were friends with each other but seemed to possess some animosity towards them. And I should also point out that in season 2, one team from season 1 comes back. I'm not going to tell you who, though. Did my favorite team win? Actually, my favorite team came in second, but the winners definitely deserved it, in my mind. So then we get to Endurance Season 3, which is Hawaii. And, this season many people enjoy, but I didn't enjoy it as much. I found the season to be a lot more negative, and it was hard to pick a likable team. It was pretty easy to watch, but I just couldn't throw myself behind that many teams. In the end, was I happy with the winning team? Yeah, because they were one of, I think, 3 teams that I was comfortable with winning. And as the 2 other teams, I was somewhat comfortable with seeing win, even though I did not like one of those teams at all, unfortunately, for many of you fans out there. Yeah. So I'm happy with the winners for that season, but to be honest, they were pretty much the only people I wanted to see win left, even though I didn't have anything against them. Out of all the seasons, I ranked it as the worst at the time. Season 4, Tehachapi, was a bit of a return to basics, where there weren't as many twists or as much animosity. Most of the teams there liked each other, minus actions based on one group in a particular cycle. I define a cycle as Endurance Mission, Temple of Fate competition where one team is eliminated. Even though technically that's like 2 episodes. So Tehachapi was a lot more interesting, and this time, basically every team had a shot at winning. And there were 2 teams that did their best to stay in the game. Their fights were incredible. I was really happy to see this season. My favorite team ended up coming in second, but like with Season 2, the winners of this season absolutely deserved it. I just wanted the other team to win. Although, to be honest, I think there was one member of that team that did more than the other, but hey, sometimes that's just the way it is, and I'm happy that they won. Just like I said, I would have preferred the other. Endurance High Sierras. Now, this season was really fast-paced, had one of the most dominant alliances that this game has ever seen, and one team trying to fight their way through a destabilized alliance. It was just great to see. It was really intense. I had great emotions coursing through me, rooting for a particular team. I was really looking forward to this, and then the final temple mission. Oh my. Basically, in one fell swoop, this season went from being one of the best to one of the worst. All the way to the end, I was thinking that this is a great season, and then the winners completely ruined it for me. I just hate it when that happens. It's kind of like Survival Australian Outback, where I wanted Colby to win, not Tina. I started to say I wanted Tina to win instead of Colby. No! I wanted Colby to win. Sorry, I have nothing against Tina. And I also kind of felt the same way for Hell's Kitchen Season 7, and I think there's 1 or 2 other examples out there. Oh, Endurance 2 and 4. Okay. So that sums it up with High Sierras. It was looking to be the best all the way until the end. But you gotta be wondering something. If I have all of these faults for Hawaii and High Sierras, why did I make DVDs out of them? Well, this is where if you don't want spoilers, you stay away.